Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Do to Study. So here I am again with a new video, and it's the third video from the chapter, the second phase of the Indian national movement. Okay, in the previous video we discussed about Surat split and much more, isn't it? Now in this video we will start with the objective of the assertive nationalists. See, the assertive nationalists wanted Swaraj, that is complete independence. They did not wanted self-government or home rule. They did not wanted self-government as it was set up in some of the colonies of Australia and New Zealand. Now, what is the difference between Swaraj and self-government? Isn't it? It's a very important question, and this question is always, it's a doubt among many students, isn't it? So, Swaraj means complete independence, which means that the country will be ruled by the people of that country, by the citizens of that country. That is, the country will be ruled by their own people. Okay, but in self-government, what happens? The country will be ruled by the people of that country only, of that country itself, but still some important matters like defense, communication, which are of utmost importance, are placed in the hands of these colonial powers. Okay, that is, these matters like defense, communication, etc. are under the hands of the British. Okay, colonial power, it can be anything, but here in this case it is British, isn't it? Therefore, the assertive nationalists did not wanted self-government. Rather, they wanted Swaraj, that is complete independence. All fields should be managed by the people of our country only. Okay. So, it was the main objective of the assertive nationalists. Now, let's know what were the methods adopted by the assertive nationalists to achieve their objective. Okay. Now, before moving to that, they wanted larger share of Indians in the Indian administration. That is, in the Indian Council, more and more Indians should be there, so that better administration can be done, so that more help from the government can be given to the poor Indians. Okay, so for all these reasons, for the betterment of the Indians, they wish to have more Indians in the Indian Council, and the other objective was to attain Swaraj or complete independence. Okay, for this they adopted various methods like non-cooperation, boycott, Swadeshi, passive resistance, etc. and etc. So let's see all of them one by one. Okay, so the first one is Swadeshi. Swadeshi means that we should be self-reliant. That is, we should use the things that are produced in our own country, that are manufactured in our own country. So, if that's implemented, then what will happen? The economic condition of our country will increase. The unemployment will decrease, and the handicrafts and other textile industries and other industries can be re-established, isn't it? मतलब कि अगर स्वदेशी मूवमेंट हमारे कंट्री में फॉलो हो गया, इट मीन्स कि हम दूसरे कंट्री पे जो फॉरेन कंट्रीज से, यूरोपियन कंट्री से जो भी प्रोडक्ट्स आते थे उस पे हम डिपेंडेंट नहीं होंगे, वो सब चीजें हम नहीं खरीदेंगे, isn't it? So that would be beneficial for the Indians only, because क्योंकि जो इंडियंस के पास जो इंडस्ट्रीज, हैंडीक्राफ्ट इंडस्ट्री, टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री और बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्रीज जो क्लोज हो गए थे ये ब्रिटिश के फॉरेन गुड्स आने के कारण, क्योंकि ब्रिटिश के द ब्रिटिश फॉरेन गुड्स वे चीप, so they were sold easily. So as a result, the Indian goods were not sold, and therefore the Indian handicrafts, textile, and many industries came to an end, isn't it? But if we again start using the products made in our own country, then surely it would revive the textile and handicraft and other industries too. Okay. Now, the second one was boycott. Boycott means जो फॉरेन गुड्स है उसे हम बॉयकॉट कर दें, मतलब वो जो फॉरेन गुड्स आ रहे हैं, जो भी फॉरेन प्रोडक्ट्स है, हम उसे यूज नहीं करेंगे. ओके, boycott of foreign goods. See, if we are implementing Swadeshi, then we have to implement boycott also. ओके मतलब हम बस स्वदेशी फॉलो करें उससे हमारा मोटिव फुलफिल नहीं होगा, हमें उसी के साथ साथ फॉरेन गुड्स को भी बॉयकॉट करना पड़ेगा. ओके मतलब कि जो कि फॉरेन प्रोडक्ट्स हमारे मार्केट में बेचा जा रहा है उसे हमें नहीं खरीदना है. सो इट वाज द thing that was introduced at that time also. At that time, see, now in this COVID-19 crisis, you can see that our honorable Prime Minister has said us to be more self-reliant, isn't it? So at the time of crisis, this self-reliance is very important, and during this time it's important. And similarly, at that time also, Swadeshi was very important, and Swadeshi was accompanied by boycott of foreign goods. For this purpose, many foreign clothes were burnt in public places. That is, दिखाने के लिए कि हम ये foreign goods को use नहीं कर रहे हैं. Okay, that is the British government will see that we are not using these goods. To show this, the foreign goods were burnt. Okay, now see. One of the motive that was by the British for setting up their government in India was to provide India or to use India as a market for their foreign goods, isn't it? उनका एक मोटिव ये भी था कि वो इंडिया को उनके प्रोडक्ट्स का मार्केट बनाए, isn't it? बट अगर हम बॉयकॉट कर देंगे उनके प्रोडक्ट को, देन उनका एक मोटिव जो था, उनका एक जो ऑब्जेक्टिव था, उसको हम तोड़ रहे हैं, isn't it? That we are breaking their motive. We are not allowing them to achieve their motive, isn't it? So it was all about the boycott. And along with this, see, if we are boycotting foreign goods, then we have to produce those goods in our country, isn't it? For that purpose, many industries were set up. For example, the Jamshedji Tata industry, that is Jamshedji Tata, started his iron and steel industry in India, and several other salt industries, sugar industry were also set up in India. Okay. Now the third one was national education. That is, if we have to bring all our masses together, then they should be educated. If they would be educated, then they can understand the problems faced by Indians, or they can understand what's happening on the political ground, isn't it? For that, national education was spread all over India. For this, they took help of students, but to repress this movement of national education, many repressive acts were started by the British government too. Okay, so these repressive policies were applied on the schools. So now they took help of the universities which were free from these governments. That is, they started national universities which were free from these government rule. Okay, so there one more thing, why they started national education, that is why they started setting up our own schools and educational centers, was that the schools or the educational centers that were set up by the government had to follow the policies, the repressive acts that were given by the government, isn't it? But if we open a school or an educational institution, a center of education by our own means, then this then there is no need that education that center has to follow the repressive policies, isn't it? See, a national scheme of education was planned which was to replace that of government controlled universities and colleges. Now these educational institutions that would be set up by our own Indians would be different and would be free from the government institutions that were under the clutches of the British government, isn't it? The assertive nationalists tried to enlist the students in their service. When the British government threatened to take disciplinary action against the students, the national leaders advocated national universities that were free from government school. Okay. A large number, yes, many national schools, universities were established under this scheme. One of them was It was established in East Bengal, and that is Bengal National College, which was set up at Kolkata. And the Panchayappa National College was set up at Chennai. And in Punjab, the DAV movement made considerable changes in educational system. That is, the DAV movement helped many parts of the country to set up schools, to set up educational institutions. Now also you can see that there are many DAV schools in our country, isn't it, that are imparting education. Now the fourth one is passive resistance. See, the idea of assertive nationalists was that they would resist. Active resistance. Okay. That is passive resistance, which means that non-violence will not be involved, but still they would be on the front lines in political activities. Without non-violence, they would do all the things that would be possible. Okay. See, that is, they were doing vigorous political action to achieve their aims. Okay. Now, as a result of this non-cooperation movement, non-cooperation was very important. That is, the Indians would not cooperate with the repressive policies of the British. मतलब ब्रिटिशर्स कुछ भी पॉलिसीज अप्लाई करे जो इनजस्ट है, जो मतलब जो फेयर प्ले नहीं है, जो जस्टिस के साथ जो सब पॉलिसीज को वो एम्पावर नहीं करते हैं, वैसे सब पॉलिसीज को इंडियंस फॉलो नहीं करेंगे. दैट इज नॉन कोऑपरेशन मूवमेंट. ओके. और जो कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट है, दैट इट शुड बी फॉलोड for maintaining justice, that would be surely followed by them. But those policies which are just made to suppress Indians would not be followed by the assertive nationalists and its followers. That is passive resistance. And with the under passive resistance, they also introduced Swadeshi, boycott, national education, and many more. Okay. Now, apart from these four methods, there were some other methods like revivalism, personal sacrifice, and mass involvement. Now, what is this revivalism? See, these national leaders tried to again revive the glory of the past. Okay, that is, जो पुराने टाइम में इंडिया का जो कल्चर था, कितने ग्लोरियस थे, जो लीडर्स थे कितने ब्रेव थे, वो सब इंडियंस को फिर से याद दिला रहे थे ये नेशनल लीडर्स. तो जब ये नेशनल लीडर्स वो सब ग्रेट लीडर्स के बारे में याद दिलाएंगे, हमारा जो रिच हिस्ट्री है, रिच कल्चर है, उसके बारे में याद दिलाएंगे, उनसे इंस्पायर करेंगे पीपल को कि हमें भी इन्हीं की तरह करेजियस बनना है, ब्रेव बनना है, और हमारे राइट्स के लिए हमें फाइट करना है. ओके. सो दिस वाज the main motive behind revivalism. Okay. Tilak revived, that is Bal Gangadhar Tilak revived the Shivaji festival in 1895, and the assertive nationalists also presented Chandragupta, Vikramaditya, Rana Pratap and Shivaji as national heroes. Okay, because of their valor, because of their valor. Okay. And their memories inspired the people to fight, inspired the masses to fight against the British. Okay. Now, the next one is personal sacrifice. See, if you are a leader and you are not showing the path that should be followed, then your followers will not also follow the path that you are telling to follow. मतलब जब तक हम करके नहीं दिखाते हैं, तब तक हमारे followers भी वो follow नहीं करेंगे. If we just say in mouth and do not follow it, then it's not possible that our followers will follow it, isn't it? इसीलिए these leaders were ready to sacrifice anything and everything for their country, for the national movement. Okay. The seventh one is mass involvement. See, by seeing their personal sacrifices, by seeing their hard work, by seeing their intention to free India, the masses also followed them. Or you can say that the assertive nationalists were successful in involving the masses in the national struggle. Okay, so their objective was, the assertive nationalists wished that the masses should come together to fight against the British. And yes, that happened. Okay, see, these people had much faith in the strength of the masses. They really believed that if the people come together, then many changes can be there. Okay, and this faith enabled them to encourage the masses to come forward, and finally they were successful in bringing the masses to the national movement. Okay. Now their sacrifices and sufferings also influenced the masses, also motivated and inspired the masses to follow their path. That is, if these leaders can do for us, then why can't we do for our nation? Isn't it? That was the main thought that came to them, and therefore the masses also got involved in the national struggle. Now let's see what were the achievement of the assertive nationalists. That is, after struggling so much, what achievements did they got? Okay, before coming to this, to stop this rising tide of nationalism, to stop this aggressive nationalism, the British, obviously they will introduce some repressive acts, isn't it? And it did happen. And for that, these leaders who were there, the assertive leaders, had to suffer a lot. Okay, they were sent to jails, they were sent to trials, they were kept in jails for 6 to 7 years, and such things occurred every time. But still, these people did not fail. They did not accept the failure. They stood. They continued to stand against the British. Okay. Now the government also censored all newspapers and prohibited mass meetings and started prosecution against the Nationalist Association. That is, मतलब कुछ भी न्यूज़पेपर जो ब्रिटिशर्स के अगेंस्ट कुछ प्रिंट कर रहा है, उनके अगेंस्ट वैसे न्यूज़पेपर्स को वो बंद कर दिए और पब्लिक मीटिंग्स को बंद कर दिए। पब्लिक मीटिंग्स में ही ये सब टॉपिक्स डिस्कस करा जाता था और मास अपराइजिंग के लिए पीपल को रेडी किया जाता था, इज़न्ट इट? और जो नेशनलिस्ट एसोसिएशंस थे, ये एसोसिएशन के गाइडेंस में ही बहुत सारे नेशनल मूवमेंट्स आगे लिया गया था। तो फिर ऐसे सब एसोसिएशन, पब्लिक मीटिंग्स, न्यूज़पेपर, सबको वो बंद कर दिए। ओके, एज ए रिजल्ट क्यों बंद किए? ताकि उनको लगा कि अगर ये सब बंद कर देंगे तो फिर जो नेशनल मूवमेंट चल रहा है, जो पीपल को इकट्ठा कर दिया जा रहा है, वो सब बंद हो जाएगा। बट दैट डिडंट ऑकर एंड इंडियंस continuously tried to achieve independence. Okay, now let's see what were the achievements of the assertive nationalists. Okay, see, they were able to revive the rich, glorious past of India, isn't it? They revived like Shivaji festival, Ganapati festival. So many such festivals were revived, and the Indians once again knew about the great kings, and then the Indians were inspired by the bravery, by the feeling of nationalism, the extent up to which those rulers had nationalism, had the feeling of nationalism with them, had the love for their motherland. Those all things also inspired these people who were listening to it, isn't it? As a result, these people also got involved in the mass uprising. Then they gave new slogans to Indian national movement like non-cooperation, Swadeshi, boycott, passive resistance, mass agitation, self-reliance, etc., etc., isn't it? That is a new outlook for mass uprising, a new outlook for the Indian national movement was given by these assertive nationalists. They adopted new methods which were successful up to an extent. Okay, then yes, a very important thing was that they spoke and wrote in the vernacular languages. When we write and speak in vernacular languages, the common people who use that language, मतलब कि हम हर एक रीजन के लोगों के साथ उनके रीजन में जो लैंग्वेज में वो लोग बात करते हैं, उसी लैंग्वेज में उनके साथ इंटरेक्ट करेंगे, उसी लैंग्वेज में जो सब राइटिंग्स है, न्यूज़पेपर राइटिंग्स है, उनको देंगे, देन वो लोग पढ़ पाएंगे, वो लोग समझ पाएंगे क्या हो रहा है, हम क्या बोलना चाहते हैं, इजंट इट। पहले जो लीडर्स थे वो लोग आइदर इंग्लिश और हिंदी में प्रोपगेशन करते थे, जिसकी वजह से बहुत डिफिकल्टी होता था ये जो कॉमन पीपल को समझने के लिए। इसीलिए जो एजुकेटेड मासेस थे अर्ली नेशनलिज्म में हम देखेंगे कि जो एजुकेटेड पीपल थे लाइक लॉयर्स and professors, they were involved because they were educated and they were able to understand English, isn't it? But here the assertive nationalists explained all the things and wrote all the things in vernacular languages, so it became very easy for the local people to understand and support the movement. Okay, now through their writings and speeches they infused in the Indians a spirit of active nationalism. That is, they were successful. उनके जो राइटिंग्स था वो बहुत पावरफुल था, उनका जो स्पीचेस था बहुत पावरफुल था, उसके थ्रू वो एक जो वेव ऑफ नेशनलिज्म है वो हर एक पीपल, जो हर एक लोग जो उसे सुन रहा है, उनके हार्ट्स में वो वेव को वो रेस करने में बहुत बेनिफिशियल, बहुत व्हाट यू कैन से, they were very successful in raising the tide of nationalism in the hearts of every Indians who were listening to their speeches and writings. Okay, that is, they wrote such powerful speeches and writings. Yes, self-reliance was promoted. See, as self-reliance, that is Swadeshi, was promoted, it means that handicrafts, industries was the betterment of handicrafts and industries was going on. There is a development of industries and handicrafts was going on, and furthermore, the unemployment problems were decreasing and the economic problems that were prevailing, that were also decreasing. So it was really a great achievement on the part of the assertive nationalists, isn't it? And furthermore, the motive of the British to bring their foreign goods and sell in India was also destroyed, isn't it? Then yes, as a part of self-reliance activities, Jamshedji Tata established the iron and steel industry, and the Bengal Chemical Works was set up during this phase only. Okay, and even Rabindranath Tagore set up a Swadeshi Bhandar. Okay, next one is that they declared that we do not want self-government, rather we want Swaraj. Okay, that is complete independence. And but the early nationalists wanted that they just want self-government. They did not raise their voice for Swaraj or complete independence. Okay. Now many new educational institutions were set up as a part of the national education, isn't it? It was also part of Swadeshi movement, because in these movements the schools or educational institutions were set up by the people of India and not by the government, not by the British government. Okay. Now these centers of education later became centers of nationalism, because after getting educated, the people understood what is nationalism. The people understood how to fight against is British. Okay. Now, the movement initially was started in Bengal, isn't it? Because as a result of the partition of Bengal, these all things were started, Surat split occurred, and the movement that we discussed all occurred. So it means that the movement had its roots in Bengal, but soon it spread all over the country, giving it a national outlook. Okay. That is, Swadeshi and boycott of foreign goods was established in all parts of the country. Now, it was because of the efforts and sacrifices made by assertive leaders that the partition of Bengal was annulled in 1911. This gave fresh self-confidence to Indian nationalists. See, you know that the partition of Bengal took place in 1905. Surat split took place in 1907. Now, after this Surat split, the assertive nationalists held many programs, held many uprisings, isn't it? Now, as a result of their continuous uprisings, continuous agitation. Finally, in 1911, the partition of Bengal was annulled. That is, it was stopped. And the partition was done on the basis of language. That is, the Hindi-speaking Bihari, Odia-speaking Odia, and the Bengali-speaking Bengal were separated from each other. So, in this, the religious separation was not there, and the territories were just separated on the basis of the language. Okay, so you can see that there were many achievements of the assertive nationalist leaders. Okay, so here we come to the end of this video. In the next video, we will deal with the prominent leaders of the assertive nationalists. Okay, till then, bye bye.